Hey, good morning, Robert. How are you? Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Loretta. Yeah. So excited you guys are joining me for coffee chat. Alrighty, well, let's get started. Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Coffee Chat with me, Catherine Oster. I am a certified facilitator of Access Consciousness, and coffee chats are all about how I take these crazy, pragmatic, easy to use tools and live them. Hey, good morning, Mom. All right. Well, if you guys have any questions at all, you can go ahead and type them in the comments. For those of you watching this in the future on YouTube or listening on SoundCloud, this is originally done as a Facebook Live. So sometimes I get a little distracted saying hi to the people joining me and reading their comments. All right. So this morning I wanted to ask you guys a question. Actually, I want you to tap into your awareness and your knowing, and I want you to get a sense of your awareness. What's true for you makes you feel lighter, and what's a lie makes you feel heavier. So now more than ever, it is actually really any time, but now more than ever, what would it take for you to strengthen and trust what you know is true for you? So my first question, so just to get you a sense of what I'm going to call it a feeling, even though it's not really that, but that's going to best describe it to most people. What a feeling of lightness is, what space is, actually what a perception of lightness is for you, and what a perception of heaviness is. Good morning, Jackie Albert. So I'm going to ask you this question, and I want you just to notice what you sense or perceive energetically after it. Good morning, Annalise. So truth, your body likes to drink water. Truth, your body likes to drink water. Just notice what you sense energetically. How does that question make you, what do you feel? So the next question, truth, your body likes to drink bleach. Truth, your body likes to drink bleach. So now notice what you perceive or sense after that. After somebody says that, makes that statement to you. Truth, your body likes to drink bleach. So for me, a heavy always makes my face scrunchy. Feels really contracted and just dense, which are not words that I would have used in the beginning, but the face scrunchy always gives it away for me. And that has always been true for me. So that means that statement for me is heavy. It's a lie. Now the water, it's yeah, my body likes to drink water. Makes me smile. Everything is lighter and more space. So that is what's true for you. Okay, so truth, I'm not sure how to word this one, but I want to talk to you guys about impossible things. So truth, impossible is true. Truth, impossible is impossible true. Truth is impossible actually real. Truth is impossible a reality. Now, we're all going to get a different sense of energy from that, a different awareness, because we're all going to be at different places with our decisions, judgments, and conclusions about things. But when I actually ask that, impossible is not true. impossible is actually a lie. And that is one of the things in Access Consciousness, like in the foundation class. It's like, what if everything is possible? And what if anything can change? Would you be willing to choose it? That's the key right there. Would you be willing to choose it? What if everything is possible and anything can change? Would you be willing to choose it? So it has been 7 years since I took my first foundation class. And so many impossible things have actually shown up in my life over the past 7 years using these tools, which is basically asking a question. So the first impossible thing that totally blew me away was the indoor riding arena. I remember in 2013, like I had been dreaming about this indoor riding arena probably since the year 2000. I'm just going to throw that out there. It was probably even before then. Like really dreaming about having my own indoor riding school where I could teach lessons and train horses. But that for me, I knew it wasn't impossible, but it really seemed impossible. I couldn't see how it could show up. And but the more that I stayed in the question of it, it did. And it freaking still blows my socks off as I consider that it actually showed up. And in 2013, I did a year-long program with Glenise Hughes, who is also another certified facilitator with Access Consciousness. And I wrote down in my kind of life plan that by the time I was 50, I would have an indoor riding arena. And so at that time, I was actually just 30. So I was like, in 20 years, that'll give me lots of time, 20 years. Well, it actually showed up in 2016, 2017, like in 3 years after that, I was like, holy crap. So that was an impossible thing. Like a thing that I believed it was slightly possible, like 5% possible. And that 5% kept me going. But I didn't think it was going to show up for 20 years. 3 years. Holy crap. How does it get better than that? So that really showed me that everything is possible. And then a few other things have like kind of shown up. Well, there's always been things showing up and changing, but a couple of things lately. Well, actually, one thing was with my husband, Travis, our relationship. You know, we did the normal like, God, he never cleans up after himself and he never ever does anything I want to do and he never considers me and he never helps me with anything. And like that was kind of my point of view in our relationship back then as well. And I really hated that. Like all of those statements that I just made were so freaking heavy. Such a lie. Now, there's so many other things that kind of play into this, projections and expectations being one of them. But over the last couple of years, so it maybe took me 5 years to change this. First of all, I focused on the riding arena, and then I focused a little on the relationship, and then I focused on the money. Anyway, the relationship is like so different now. Like we truly, like he doesn't, like he helps me with everything. I don't even ask him to, and he shows up and he does things, and it fucking amazes me. I'm just like, holy shit. One of the things with him that really drove me crazy in our relationship was the amount of stress that he had. We're grain farmers, and so the weather was always driving his emotions. And I've talked about this before. And I honestly didn't think that could ever change. Like that was literally an impossible thing. I was like, I'm just going to have to learn how to deal with this myself. Like for me, like not let his emotions dictate how I felt that day or how my day went that day. And I use so many tools. And it's different now. This whole crop growing season, he was hardly stressed at all. He did not drive me crazy with his overreactions to the weather. It was so good. And I thought that was an impossible thing. Okay, and so we had a drought this year. Good morning, Lori. And Travis and I were like, a few years ago, we were talking. If any of you listened to my magic chat that I sent out in the email, this is what this is about too. Anyway, a couple of years ago, we were just randomly visiting, like just chit-chatting, the two of us. And I'm like, geez, what would it be like to sell $18 canola? Like $18 a bushel for canola. Like, what would that be like? And because the grain prices were lower then, I think maybe even canola was like $8 or $9. And wheat was like $6. And then I'm like, geez, what would it be like to sell $10 wheat? And I was just kind of throwing these numbers out there. And he looked at me like I was retarded. He's like, you're ridiculous. That's never going to show up. He thought that was impossible. And I just didn't have a point of view about it. I was just kind of throwing things out there. Well, guess what, folks? This year, we're probably going to be contracting $20 canola and $10 wheat, maybe even $11 wheat. I don't know. Like, what else is possible? So, how does it get better than that? The next impossible thing that showed up in a way that we thought would actually be impossible. Travis, so grain farmer, he's like the sprayer guy. He does all the spraying, which is why he fights with the weather so much. He feels like he's always fighting against the weather. But this year he was actually working with it. Like, we just turned it around and gave it a different point of view. Anyway, he's been dreaming about getting a Rogator sprayer for a couple of years now. Like, he's been looking them up and doing some research about them. And it's a machine that really got him excited. And that's what you want to have in your life. You know, you want to have that excitement to go out and get into whatever it is you're doing and be excited about it. Like, that is living. Now, I know that not a lot of people want to have that excitement. A lot of people actually enjoy their pain and suffering, and that's okay, just allowing them to choose that. But for me, and for what Travis used to be one of those people that enjoyed pain and suffering. Anyway, he's now turned over and wants to be excited about things. For me, that's living, right? Anyway, Rogator sprayer. Well, turns out this Rogator sprayer showed up for him at our local John Deere dealership, sitting on the lot. He's like, what the heck is a Rogator sprayer doing on the lot of our John Deere dealership? Anyway, he got it out here for just to try it out, and he fell in love with it. And now it wasn't easy for him because it uses a different kind of software system, different technology, but he's figured it out. And he is so excited about it. And I told him last year, I said to him the other night, you know, if somebody told you last year that this year you would be buying a Rogator sprayer from our local John Deere dealership, would you believe them? And he was like, no, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, I know, but it's actually happening. Like, oh my God. Anyway, so those are my stories of impossible things changing. Now, I know there has been more mandates and announcements with the provincial governments all around vaccinating and masking and COVID and all of that. And all of that, all that's going on right now. And we're all living in that reality. And right now, it really might seem like it is impossible, like it's going to be impossible to change this or to move past it or to move beyond it. Now, I said on the last coffee chat, or I said somewhere, that I'm not like I'm not an anti-vaxxer, I'm not an anti-masker, but I am pro-choice. And I want to empower people to know that they can choose what works for them, whatever that is. And making that choice based on your awareness, what you know, what's true for you makes you feel lighter. Choosing that, what's a lie for you makes you feel heavier. And I'm not going to say not choosing that because I've chosen heavy things in my life, but they never turn out to be really fun. And but acknowledging that you're choosing that. Not making choices based on fear, Because when you are choosing from fear, you're not choosing from awareness. You're choosing from judgment. Okay, now I'm going to run that Access Consciousness clearing statement, which is this group of words that clears the energy that comes up when we're having a conversation about something. So everything that this is, everything that's brought up, can we destroy and create it all times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yes. Weird magic words. If you would like more information about them, you can go to theclearingstatement.com, and I'm actually going to put that link with this video here shortly. But what would it be like for you to start to tap into, play with that light and heavy thing even more if you haven't yet? And if you have yet, if you have played with light and heavy, just keep using it and strengthening it. In the beginning, it took me like a little while to really get a sense, to strengthen that energetic muscle, to choose from the awareness and the energy, not from the decision, judgment, and conclusion and fear. Okay, I'm going to read the comments. Cheryl, I was hesitant about getting the second shot and nervous. I stood in line and they ran out of vaccines. Interesting. What else is possible? What else is possible? Yes, exactly, Laura. That's the pro-choice thing. It should be up to the person if they want to wear a mask or get vaccinated. It should be, I totally agree with you. 100%. Pro-choice all around. And choosing from awareness, not from fear and judgment and conclusion. Okay? What would it take for you to be scary, not scared? So that is something that I heard Shannon O'Hara say in a class that I took with her. I've taken many classes with her. But I got this postcard from a 3-day body class when I went to a 3-day body class in Calgary with her back in the day in 2019. Be scary, not scared. Now, being scary does not mean that you're mean and aggressive and like scary that way. Being scary means that you are not scared. I just said that. Scary, not scared. Being scary means that you are so aggressively present in total awareness of what is going on all around you. You're not in resistance and reaction. You're not choosing from fear. You're not in alignment and agreement. You're just present in allowance. Now, it does take a bit to strengthen that presence, but ask, what would it take for me to be aggressively present here? Because when you are present in the moment, you have total awareness of all the people around you and where they're functioning from. And you have total choice because your choices are not driven from fear. They're not driven from decision, judgment, or conclusion, or from being judged. You're choosing from awareness and knowing. So anything that doesn't allow you to strengthen that scary, not scared, will you destroy and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. What else? There was something else I was going to say with that. Oh yeah, and being scary means you know you have another choice all the time, even if it seems like you don't. Being scary means you know you have another choice, even if it seems like you don't. Being scary is being willing to be judged. So many people are going to judge you for your choices. Well, you didn't get your second vaccination, so you are reckless, you're careless, you're inconsiderate, and you're selfish. Do any of those statements make you feel lighter? Because remember, back to the beginning, what's true for you makes you feel lighter, and what's a lie makes you feel heavier. If you feel heavy, all of those are lies. And people judge you because they're not willing to choose what you're choosing, and maybe they don't even have those choices available to them. They want to control you from their judgments. And I'm like, in the beginning, it made me feel so uncomfortable. I mean, this is not something, I'm speaking about it as if it's just easy peasy, but it's not. I know that it's not. Receiving all of those judgments, having somebody stand in front of you and spew these judgments at you is not easy. It takes a strength for the person to receive that. But at the end of the day, you know you have you, and you're choosing for you, not for anybody else. And it's not even like defending or, for or against, which we're doing a daily dose thing right now. It's just about choosing what works for you, without a doubt. So what would it be like for you to be scary and not scared? And scary is not a meanness. It's actually kindness. Like all of those things that I'm talking to you about, I'm being right now. Do I seem mean to you? Maybe I'm being mean to some people who don't want to hear this, I guess. Chances are they've already turned off this video or whatever. But yeah. And these other questions. So with the impossible. So even if it feels like the situation right now is impossible, it's not going to change. Does that make you feel lighter? No. So it's a lie. That statement, this is impossible to change, it's not going to change, is a lie. So now you can start, if you would like to start strengthening the change, the transformation showing up faster, you can ask this question. What would it be like to change this? This being this whole thing going on right now. What's it going to take to change this? Universe, show me. What's it going to take to change this? Universe, show me. Truth, does the universe have your back? Truth, does the universe have your back? And I have always gotten a really loud yes. And that question, when I'm in a situation that I might call impossible, or where I can't clearly see my next choice available, I'll ask that question. Truth, does the universe have my back? Yes, always yes, 1,000,000%. Okay, show me. Oh, Lori. Oh yes, you're being so mean. You're making me cry. I'm thinking making you cry tears of happiness. Universe, show me. And it will. So it's also having the patience and to not give up, because the next choice, the next step will present itself. If you will stand the question and keep choosing. But you can't see the next choice if you don't make the first one. All right. I wonder what our life is going to be like in 5 years. I'm really curious about that, actually. And that's my little coffee chat for you guys this morning. If you have any questions at all, or you ever require anything, I know what it feels like to get stuck and feel like powerless and impossible. Just reach out, send me a message. I'm happy to ask you a question. If I don't reply to you right away, it's not personal. I might not have service where we are in the field or whatever. But yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me live this morning. Have an amazing rest of your day. Stay in the question. What's it going to take to change this? Universe, show me. And keep choosing the lightness and what works for you. Oh, the kitty is doing really good. Okay, so thank you, Lori, for asking. The incision it's gotten quite a bit smaller, so it didn't heal together because it was older when we got it stitched. It healed together at the ends, but not in the middle, so it ended up pulling apart and we took all the stitches out, but she's been staying on antibiotics. So she's got a little bit more of that, but it probably is about this big right now. So it's almost healed up. You are so welcome, Annalise. But she's still wearing a cone, which really pisses her off. But I think we took it off of her last night and forgot to put it back on again because I saw it sitting on the chair. Anyway, yeah, she's doing good. Thank you so much, guys. Alrighty. Bye-bye for now.